Good evening, Commissioner Padro.
Good evening, Commissioner Watkins. How are you feeling?
I'm here.
Oh gosh, you don't sound too great.
I know you're not gonna hear that much out of me either.
Oh, I can imagine. Well, are you feeling any better?
I am feeling a little better, not so much. I finally got my medicine.
Oh, that's great.
Finally.
That's,
And
that's the
after
most
calling
important thing.
all over, after calling all over DC, I finally got it.
Yeah, no, I think that COVID is getting around again here, so I can
Yeah.
see that the supplies might have been a little short.
Yes.
I've got somebody here who's identifying themselves, or with the automatic name is IMAPUSAY, and says that please change the name. I can change it for you if you let me know what you would like me to change it to.
Alex Stevens on the other side. I can answer that question, Alex, if you'd like me to.
Do you know who the person
No.
is?
No. So I don't know why this person is questioning my last name. My last name is Nigro. It's Italian.
Oh no, I thought that they were saying that their name, they were uncomfortable with their name.
Now it says Commissioner Nigro's name must be changed.
Oh, no, that obviously you're welcome to respond to that.
You'd have to talk to my father, who's dead. So, but I'll when I pray to him tonight, I'll let you guys know about let him know about the Italian last name.
Okay.
Misunderstood it. They were saying that the person's name was displaying in a manner that they did not want it to display. Okay, let's see who else have we got.
That's so rude.
Tony's on the other side too.
Yeah, no, I promoted him. I don't know why he's not coming over here. We'll do it again. So I don't see. Good evening.
Good evening.
The only person I don't see is our 05 commissioner. Hopefully she'll be able to join us later. All right, we do have a quorum to start official business, so let's call the meeting to order at 6:31 p.m. This is the January meeting of Advisory Neighborhood Commission 2G. I'm Alexander M. Padro, the chair, for a few moments longer. I'll ask our secretary to call the roll.
2G01.
Present.
2G02.
Present.
2G03.
Present.
2G04. Myself present. 2G05. 2G06.
Here.
We do have a quorum to conduct business. I'm checking again to make sure that our other commissioner hasn't come in, that she has not yet. I will display the agenda so we can adopt it. This is the agenda. The only changes from the version that was originally posted were some additional items and some deletions. So this is the most recent version, which includes a resolution related to 9th Street that is being referred by the Transportation Committee. So if there are no questions from members of the commission, I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
A second,
It's been moved by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Watkins. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 That's unanimous. Thank you very much. So I'll stop sharing and I'll go back to see if we've been joined by former Commissioner Goring, who's been invited to conduct the election of officers this evening. Don't see her there yet, unless she's on the phone. Former Commissioner Goring, if you're on your phone, could you use the star 69 so we know that you're there and we can make you a panelist so that you can conduct the election? See her hand up.
Maybe, you want me to call her, Alex, or?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that if you could. I don't recognize any of those numbers as being heard.
Commissioner Barry did just join us.
Oh, here. May let the record reflect that Commissioner Barry joined the meeting at 6:35 p.m.
Alex, I'm gonna text her the information. Give me a second, okay? And get her.
Okay. So while we're waiting for former Commissioner Goring to join us so that she can conduct the election officers, I'll take a moment to announce that I will not be seeking the chair for this next year. Appreciate the opportunity to have been able to have been of service for the commission's first year in getting systems and processes in place so that we could hit the ground running, and say that our team successfully did that. But in the spirit of the bylaws, which have a restriction on only 2 consecutive terms for officers, not pursuing chair. Let's see. On here so that we can conduct the election. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen, while we through the preliminaries for our first meeting of the year.
Hey, Alex, why don't we do announcements now? Would
I
that
guess
take too long?
could move that since we seem to be having a problem getting this going on. Why don't we ask Grace Reader from the mayor's office to bring her notes or messages from the mayor forward. So, yeah. She not here to be here right now. She was here earlier. Let's move on to Brian Romanowski from Ward 2 Council Member's Office.
And let me call Lydia again, then she can maybe do her thing after Brian.
Yeah, and I did email her the link too, so I don't know what the problem is. Mr. Romanowski, good evening.
Good evening, everybody. How are you doing?
Doing great, thanks.
All right, I will jump right in. I'm going to share my screen up, but it's disabled, so you might have to allow me to share. Sorry.
Ed?
Okay. Let's see. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. I just lost my notes, so 1 second here. Okay, well, I believe Councilmember Pinto is planning to attend your February meeting. So we'll be in touch about that, but please prepare questions for her ahead of time. The first announcement is that her annual Ward 2 budget forum is going to be next Tuesday, the 16th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. I'll post the link to RSVP in the chat, but again, it's very important that you attend that if you have any budget requests for the upcoming fiscal year 2025 budget. If you can't attend, you can also email requests directly to Maddie on our staff, and I'll post her email in the chat. It's going to be a tough budget year, so we do ask that you send any requests early and consider emailing your at-large council members, including the chairman, with those requests as well, to make it a little bit easier for us to try to convince everybody that things that Ward 2 needs are worth it. The next update. So you may have seen yesterday, as Chair Padro predicted at your last meeting, Councilmember Pinto announced her Security C Omnibus. So it's a public safety legislative package that includes over 100 interventions from the various legislation that had hearings this fall. It's going to make sustainable common sense improvements across the public safety ecosystem. And this includes Councilmember Pinto's bills, as well as bills from the mayor and other council members. There are three main goals of these bills, and that's on the screen there, but prevention and ending cycles of violence, accountability for crime, and government coordination and oversight. We've gone through most of these bills in past meetings, so I won't take up too much of your time, but I'll just slowly scroll through those three in more detail in case you want to look at that. We're hoping that this package moves quickly with a markup expected next week on Wednesday the 17th. Where it will hopefully be voted out of the committee. It then goes to the first vote from the full council on January 23rd, and then would be followed by a second and final vote on February 6th. While many provisions have no cost and can be implemented immediately, others will require funding. So we're hoping that the mayor is able to fund all of Security C. I know your ANC also had concerns about the warrantless search provision, which was a potential solution to remove guns from our streets. Councilmember Pinto heard your concerns regarding fair implementation of this policy and unfair impacts on Black and Brown residents. And I'm happy to say that it is not part of the omnibus that is moving forward. So that is not part of the omnibus. If you support this omnibus, we ask that you contact your at-large council members, which again includes the chairman, to let them know that you support Security C and want to see the omnibus passed within the next month. So everything is moving quickly now after, I know it's been a long fall of hearing about public safety legislation. I think those are all the updates from me. I'll be happy to take any questions, and I will post the links that I mentioned in the chat.
Great, thank you. Questions for Mr. Romanowski from members of the commission? Yeah, yes, Commissioner Barry.
Hi, Happy New Year. I would just like to say, I read, what she's proposing, and I don't have a problem with a lot of it. But there was a aspect of it that I think was possibly not covered. And what I've noticed is that there are people who are, they've convicted multiple felonies. They get arrested, they get out, and then they come back out, and then they commit another felony. I was thinking, is there any type of like reform in the prisons that in DC jails or DC prisons that, we can kind of, eliminate crime, like to help ease them back into society, so it's not such a violent adjustment, like, they're not, I'm not saying that people are committing crimes simply for poverty, but when you have like an environment that isn't conducive to helping people stand on their feet, or you have an environment where people have to like fight for scraps, you will have people getting robbed, you will have people committing crimes. And so I was wondering if there's some type of reform included into this program to help reduce crime, because a lot of that is repeat felons. And so.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Barry. So there is one part of the bill that impacts that, and that's the hospitality career training program in the DC jails. So that when folks get out, they have a better shot of becoming employed right away. Because as you were saying, a lot of times people come out and they don't have a job, they turn back to crime in order to survive, which obviously is horrible and unfortunate for every reason. So that's the hospitality training component. And then inside the jails, this bill would set nutrition standards for healthier food served in the jail. So hopefully people will also be healthier when they're getting out, because a lot of times people are getting out right now and their health outcomes are not very good, which also can lead to crime, turn them back to crime. So those are the two main things. I know there's way more work that needs to be done in that space, but those are just the two that are part of this package.
Okay, that's good to hear.
All right, if there are any members of the audience on Zoom that would like to ask a question of the representative from Ward 2 Council Member's office, please use the raise your hand feature in Zoom or dial *69 if you're on the phone. Again, questions for Ward 2 Councilmember Pinto's representative, Brian Romanowski. Raise your hand using the raise your hand feature on Zoom, or use *69 if you're on the phone. And it does not appear that we have any questions for Mr. Romanowski. So, Brian, thank you for participating in this evening's.
Thank you, and congrats on making it. I think you're halfway through your terms, everybody. So good job.
Still not seeing former Commissioner Goring's number on here. So we do have Grace Reeder from the mayor's office, so let's bring Grace over so we can hear from her.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
I'm going to get right into it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Grace Reeder, and I'm the Ward 2 liaison for the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services. I'm going to put all this information that I'm about to share in the chat, as well as my contact information, because I know I'm going to run through this kind of quick. So this week, on Monday, Mayor Muriel Bowser launched the new Gallery Place Chinatown Task Force to develop a vision and recommendations for potential future uses of the 2-block district parcel encompassing Capital One Arena and Gallery Place. Residents, businesses, and stakeholders can share their ideas for downtown with the Gallery Place Chinatown Task Force and receive updates on other progress happening downtown by visiting bedowntown.dc.gov. Additionally, Mayor Bowser unveiled the fiscal year 2024 Small Business Enterprise, SBE, Opportunity Guide, known as the Green Book, and also announced a record-breaking spending goal of $1.2 billion. The Green Book assists SBEs in securing contracts from district agencies by providing business owners with an overview of available opportunities to do business with district government and information on how to pursue them. SBEs can search for opportunities in real time using greenbookdc.com. Additionally, I know many of you are already aware of this, but I want to formally invite you to join Mayor Bowser next Thursday, January 18th at 11 a.m. At the ribbon cutting of Station UNO, historically known as Parcel 42, at 1707 7th Street Northwest. This project is going to be delivering 108 units of affordable housing toward to Shaw neighborhood, and we'd really love to see you all there. I know on the groundbreaking, Commissioner Padro, you had introduced the mayor previously at that event, I believe. So we'd really love to have the whole commission there and celebrate this really exciting project in the Shaw neighborhood. Additionally, for DPW leaf collection, the second pass in Section B has begun on Monday. Section B leaves should have already been raked to the curb. And if your street has not been collected 8 business days after DPW has announced the collection has started in the next section, please call 311 and open a leaf collection missed service request. As always, please feel free to CC me as well and let me know if you need my assistance in getting that 311 request submitted. Additionally, DPW service households can place their trees and greenery in the tree boxes or curbside from now until March 2nd. If your tree has not been collected within 7 days of placing them curbside, please submit a 311 request. Additionally, we're encouraging residents to sign up for alert.dc.gov and stay up to date on extreme weather events, road closures, and things of that nature. We're also encouraging you to go to ready.dc.gov/winterwx so you can stay up to date on some of the resources we have available in extreme cold and snowstorms. And then additionally, it's that time of year again. We're thinking about the fiscal year 2025 budget. So once I have the official dates for the budget engagement forums with the mayor, I'll definitely be sure to let you all know about that. I should have that information in the next few weeks, but I also want you guys in your SMDs and your commission as a whole to start thinking about your budget priorities, your top budget priorities for this next year, so I can share that with senior leadership. And with that, I will take your questions. And I'm going to put all this information in the chat.
Great. I see Commissioner Nigro has her hand up.
So I forgot, great. How long does the leaf pickup last? March?
I believe it's January 30th, but they're going to finish through all the sections.
March.
Sorry.
Christmas trees.
Oh, the holiday greenery.
No, wait, no, I meant leaves, but I'm getting them confused. So when is leaves?
Leaves are January 30th, but they're going to get through all the sections, the second pass of all the sections. And then holiday greenery and trees are March 2nd, sorry.
Any other questions from Commissioner Barry?
Yeah, really quick, I wanted to know what was the thought behind naming the Green Book, because, you know, historically the Green Book was a resource that Black Americans used to find resources when they traveled in the Jim Crow era for safe haven. So like, what was the thought behind naming this resource the Green Book?
I'd certainly have to look into it. I can get back to you on that because I'm not sure why it's named that.
Okay.
I just know it's referred to as the Green Book, but I'll definitely get back to you on that.
I find it interesting, especially when if you study like that era and civil rights, you know that, you know, we couldn't just stop at any hotel or eat at any diner. We had a book, a Green Book, and somewhat like the Yellow Pages, and we would pass that down and it would come out often, and it would allow us to, it would tell us what hotels were safe to stay and where we could stop, where sundown towns were, you know, things of that nature. So I would be interested to know what led the mayor to choose that name or her staff to choose that name.
Yeah, I can definitely follow up with you about that.
Would like to be informed. Okay.
Other questions for Ms. Rader from commissioners? Not seeing any hands. Questions for the representative from the mayor's office of constituent relations and services, from members of the audience on Zoom. Please use the raise your hand feature or you dial *69 if you're on the phone. Again, questions for Grace Reader from the mayor's office, raise your hand, Zoom, or use *69. Oh, Commissioner Berry has another question.
What about Black History events going on? Any announcements for that?
So next week, Serve DC, or this weekend, sorry, is having the MLK Junior Day of Action. So I can send you the flyer and sign up for that as well. And then Mayor Bowser is asking residents to join her in the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade on Monday at 11 a.m. Lineup will start at 10 a.m. So I can also send you the information on that.
Thank
It'll
you.
be taking place at the Rise Center over in Berry Farms.
Okay.
I can add that in the neighborhood, there's a service project opportunity for folks that may want to roll up their sleeves on MLK's birthday. So over at Seton Elementary School on the 900 block of Rhode Island Avenue, it's from 10 a.m. to 1 o'clock. So a number of different projects, all are welcome to participate. So don't see any questions for you, Grace, from folks on the line, and no other questions from members of the commission. So we'll thank you for having joined us this evening.
Thanks, guys. And can you turn on the chat function so I can share the information with everyone? It only...
It's beyond, but I will go in and see what the problem is.
All right, thank you. Thanks, guys.
So I know that we've been joined by former Commissioner Goring. So let me bring her over. So that she can conduct the election of officers for calendar year 2020. I'm just going to allow her to talk. Apparently she's not able to join on Zoom. So former Commissioner Goring, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, but I still can't see you.
I did try to promote you to panelist, but for some reason it said you declined. You want to try that again?
I don't see a spot for me to accept. Oh, don't do this to me. Don't do this.
Technology.
It's all right, Alex. You can.
Okay.
I
Sorry
can-
about that, Maria.
I can't see you, Alex. I can see everybody else.
Okay, well, just please go ahead and proceed.
Okay, we're going to start now.
Yes, please. Oh,
Okay, but I can't see who's running for office.
so I just tried to promote you again. Let's see if you can do that. It says that you're declining to be promoted. So
There should be a button, Lydia. Are you looking at your screen on your phone?
Yes.
And it should say trying to promote and then tap that.
Join panelists.
Yes.
yes, there you go. All right.
Did it take?
Yep, you should be coming up in a second.
Somehow might not have her camera on.
I can see you.
She might not have her some with her phone might not have her camera on, Alex.
Well, if you can see us, you know.
Alex now.
Your camera's not on.
Uh-oh, now you went away.
Because when different people are talking, you'll see different people.
Okay.
So what we'll just say the name so you can hear everyone's name.
Okay.
And just say yay or nay.
Ken, do you want to start with the chair?
Okay. Are you going to say the name?
No,
You
no,
get to say it.
You need to call for nominations, Lydia.
I can't get to you all.
No, just ask, for verbal nominations.
Oh, okay. Who would like to nominate for the chair?
I'll nominate Commissioner Nigro.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
Approved?
Yeah,
I
that
don't-
was unanimous.
Did Ms. Watkins vote?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I voted.
Oh,
Okay.
aye. So there's 6 of us, Lydia, so
Okay, so Ms. Watt,
we all voted.
all in favor of Michelle? Unanimous to 6?
Correct.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thanks.
Okay. Second,
We're doing vice chair now.
all nominations for vice chair.
So I nominate Stephen McCarty.
Stephen,
Yep.
any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Alex if he's open for it.
And Alex?
Wasn't expecting it, but no, sure. I'm happy
Okay.
to serve.
Excuse me. All in favor of McCarthy?
aye.
Rochelle says aye. Commissioner Barry says aye. Commissioner Watkins says aye. And Commissioner McCarty says aye.
Okay, 4 ayes.
Four.
Okay.
And all in favor for Alex Padro?
It's Tony and Alex.
Yeah, just 2 hands.
2. Okay, all in, okay, in favor of
Carter.
party, 4.
Mhm.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay. Next. Any others?
Secretary.
Okay, secretary. Nominations?
Commissioner Barry, you're muted.
Can't hear you.
I nominate Alex Padro.
No, I decline. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Secretary? Another nomination, please?
Miss Watkins, you want to try it?
Not today.
Someone's got to be secretary.
I promise it's not
Take a
that bad.
pick. Not this is
Watkins, you want to do it, please?
I, all right, I'll do it.
okay.
Let me know what I need to be doing.
We will do that. Do
All
not
in-
worry.
Somebody takes the notes.
All in
No,
favor-
yeah. So our military takes the notes and we'll help you with the other stuff. Do not, I will guide you. Do not worry, fret.
Thank you.
All in favor of Ms. Watkins?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous for Ms. Watkins, the
Ms. Watkins,
secretary.
did you vote for yourself?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Did we get that 6? Unanimous?
Yep.
Mhm.
Ms. Watkins, congratulations. And thank you.
Thank you.
Next,
So I nominate Tony Brown to continue to be treasurer because he's done such a great job.
I'll second that.
all in favor of Tony Brown for treasurer?
Aye.
Aye.
That's the hardest role in the commission, period.
A
Mhm.
unanimous for Tony Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks,
Thank
Lydia.
you.
We
Thank you,
appreciate your
Lydia.
time.
You're very welcome.
We'll have you zoom in again. So Alex, why don't you continue with the meeting? So I'll take over at the end or at the next one.
You want to do that?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
okay.
what we're really supposed to do.
Oh, well, I No, your bylaws say that you're supposed to take over right away.
Is it in our bylaws or in general? Is what our bylaws say?
Yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah,
Because Ken set out that it's supposed to be after, but
I can do it if
I
you
don't
want.
care.
I continue.
It's, if you don't want to do it, I can do it.
Sure. Let me just made you the host, so I need to switch that back. Yeah, you may have to switch it back from your end.
Wait a minute.
Go into panelists.
Got it. Yep. I'm gonna make you co-host. How about that? There we go.
Okay. All right. Congratulations to our new officers. Police report. Let's see if we've got anyone from the third district here. If there's a representative from the third district, I see a hand has been raised. Vandenberg. You've been promoted to panelist.
There we go. Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can. Good evening.
Hello, how's everybody doing? Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Okay, so first I'd like to address, I spoke with Lieutenant Romeo. Texting to appear the majority of it Florida.
I don't know about anything else, but I'm having trouble hearing you. Is everyone having trouble hearing? Yeah,
pretty well.
maybe try turning your camera off. That might help. Okay, go ahead. Let's see if we can hear you now. That's not helping.
Did he totally drop?
Dropped. Oh, there he is.
It's still there.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead. Are we good?
Okay. For some reason,
Yeah, we still got a pretty bad connection there.
okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Let's see if that'll work.
Okay. Is there any questions for me?
Okay, do you have any crime stats for us to start with? I know, were you able to hear the question?
No, I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you have any crime stats for us this evening?
Yes, I do. Let me pull those up. Okay, so compared to the previous period, we're of 55 crimes at this time last year, we're down 54. In all violent crimes of 10 at this time last year, there's been 2 this year. We have 0 reported homicides. The assault with a dangerous weapon is 0. Robberies is 1 compared to 9 last year. Burglaries, it was 0 last year. It's 1 this year. Theft from autos are up by 1, and all other thefts are up by 6. And motor vehicle thefts right now are down by 1 compared to this time last year.
All right, any questions from members of the commission? Don't see any hands. Any questions from members of the audience on Zoom? Please use the raise your hand feature or star 69 if you're on the phone. And there don't appear to be any questions from members of the audience. Oh, Commissioner Berry.
Yes.
Go
I think that was in November. We spoke about the 5th and O Street camera being not working properly. So I wanted to know if anyone was able to look at it and if there was an update on when that would be operating properly again.
That I don't know. I passed that information up to Lieutenant Romeo to let him know what we had discussed about. I'm sure that he's looked into it. I'm not sure what the results have been of it. However, I can follow up with them and ensure that if it hasn't been eradicated, that it will be.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Alex, I have a question.
Go ahead, Commissioner Nyra.
So maybe you don't know this, but there were the shots fired on December 30th on the 1300 block of 5th Street. And then the next day, unfortunately, there was a young man that passed away. I think he was taken to Children's Hospital. Do you know if that had those two were together or not?
I'm sorry, excuse me 1 second. I'm sorry, there was a lot of background noise. Can you repeat that one more time?
So on December 30th, there were shots fired in the 1300 block of 5th Street. And if anyone in my area remembers that, it was basically a machine gun. It was rapid fire, it was horrific. But that night there were no victims, right? Which was, frankly, I was shocked because of what I heard. But the next morning, a young person passed away and basically was taken to Children's Hospital. I'm sure walked there or went there, or however he got there. And I think it was Children's Hospital where he passed away. So my question is, and this was hearsay from a constituent, that those two were potentially together.
You believe you heard that they were one and the same incidents in reference to that?
Yep.
Okay. As far as I know, no, that those weren't directly related to each other. I mean, obviously, I would have to follow up with our detective's office and our command staff. They would know more. But as of right now, I don't believe that they were connected.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions from members of the commission? Seeing none, seeing no questions from, Commissioner McCarty, is that a question?
There was a question that popped up in the chat just about the stats. You shared Officer Van de Berg. It was from Maura, and she just asked if those stats were basically, are they just for January 2024? So the current year to date.
It's the current year to date for January, yes, compared to this time last year.
Thank you for that clarification. That's all from me.
All right, any other questions? Any questions from the audience? Use the raise your hand feature or star 69 if you're on the phone. Don't see any hands being raised. So thank you. Sorry for the technical difficulties, and appreciate everything that you and everyone else at the 3rd District does to keep our community safe.
Thank you much. We appreciate it.
All right, have a good night.
You too.
So we've already heard from the mayor's office, and we've heard from the Ward 2 council member's office. I did see a representative from DPW earlier. Let's see if he's still here. Inspector Davis from DPW. Promote him to panelist.
So Alex, I'm
Hello
sorry.
and happy, hello and happy New Year's to everyone. I'm gonna start off with the leaf. We are in 2B section of the leaf collecting. I know some streets may not look as, I guess, tidy as others because we were out working in the rain. So it's more difficult to remove the leaves sometimes with the vacs, with the leaves and the sweeper. The sweeper, when it comes through there, when it's really wet, because we was working in some rain when it was really raining, trying to catch up because snow season is here. They pulled us off Saturday. They was doing a partial leaf collection that day, but most of us was on snow. I was moved to snow. Several people was moved to snow. Just as this Tuesday coming up, they're preparing for another snow event. So some of us will be moved. So that does slow down leaf collection. I would like to let everybody know that does slow because some of those trucks that they use for plowing carries the vac. So they have to change the vacs out, take the vacs off, put them back on. So it can slow the process a little bit. I just want to, everybody to know. And also the tree, they are out collecting the trees. I just ask that our residents don't dump their trees by our litter cans because we're starting to see some people they're dumping it right by litter cans. We had one block, they stacked like 10 trees, just they'll come through if anything, do 311. And it might not have been our residents. It could have been commercial. It could have been, I'm just putting it out there for everybody, with the tree collection. And also I spoke with my office about the snow ice issue with the citations. I think we spoke about that last time I was on here about this. I told them that I agree with you all that after 8 hours, if it's 24 hours, sometimes the ice ain't there. Sometimes it's not there. We need to be able to get there when it's there at that moment so that we can either educate or cite that individual that is not doing it. So when the ice melt, we can't do anything. We only can do is close the service requests out. But I expressed y'all concern, and I agree with it 100% that it needs to be addressed as soon as possible with the residents that are not cleaning up the ice or the snow after the 8 hours after the snowfall. That's about it right now. We're doing our best to move through this leaf collection as fast as possible to get it done and be out your way so that, if there's any questions, okay.
Hi, Inspector. I have this feedback going on. So I have a question about posters. So if a poster is up, not an election poster, right?
Yes.
Can a person, I know that's a public space and it has to go through DDOT with public space for approval. But when DPW says I'm gonna take those down. Do they check with DDOT or how does that work?
You're muted.
You said check with DDOT?
Yeah, so if a poster's up, hold on, I can't, he has to be muted. When a poster is up and it's from whatever, but they've gotten DDOT permission, right? Do you check with DDOT?
No one will have DDOT permission, but say you all or government. We don't give businesses permission to put up posters. Businesses don't get permission for posters.
So what do you mean by you all though? It could
When I
be
mean
a
by
person.
ANC, I'm sorry, ANC representatives.
You're muted, Inspector.
Like ANC, say you're giving a function for the ANC and you all want to put up posters, you all will get that permission. They don't give that permission to regular businesses or regular people. Say somebody want about cars. They want to pick up old cars. They don't get permission for that. They don't get that permission. Only elections and say you all are doing your meetings. You all posters and all that is not just as advertisement signs. They are not really should be up, but we work with businesses with advertisement signs. Long as it's not in the middle of the sidewalk that may cause someone to trip. Technically, we could say no advertising sign, but we know our businesses need business. So as an inspector, I work with them. Long as they're not causing a hazard that will halt that trip, but posters up on poles are not acceptable from businesses.
Okay, so I'm a little bit confused about the procedure because I've been told to go through the TOPS system to put up things on DC government poles and they do the approval. Are you saying that's not correct? This is what I've been told. I want to put up a poster about something, me, and I've been told that I can get approval from the DDOT TOPS system. Wait, we can't hear you again.
Yeah, anyone can apply for it, but I'm just saying normally they do not give permission for regular advertisement signs on poles and up to be placed up. That's like if you're doing something dealing with the ANC, yes, they will. Yes, you get permission because it's dealing with the ANC, something you all are doing. But personal posters up for business or any other parties or any events, that is not acceptable.
Well, I think it has something to do with us, and it has something to do with the jail. So, potential jail. So I'll be seeking approval. And it's interesting that you said it'll be me with us, the collective us, and what we are supporting. So I'll keep you in touch, Inspector Davis, but I've been told to work through DDOT, but I will let you know.
Right, any other questions for Inspector Davis from members of the commission? Seeing none. Questions for Inspector Davis from DPW, from members of the audience on Zoom? Please use the raise your hand function or star 69 if you're on the phone. But Commissioner Berry, in the meantime, has a question. And you're muted, Commissioner.
Hi, Inspector Davis. Happy New Year. I wanted to ask a question. I think I've asked this in the past, but for some reason I've let this slip through. There was at one point someone spoken to me about a sinkhole being in the playground. So I wanted to speak to you with who I should contact about that.
You're muted.
DGS take care of rec park service, for the DPR. DGS take care of their property.
Okay. It's a deep part, but children who live in DC and live in like an apartment complex or something like that, what should happen in that aspect, in that circumstance? You're muted. Can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of you was breaking up in the first part of it.
Add the co-op on in the playground. There's a sink forming playground.
You say it's a co-op on Fifth Street?
Yeah, like if a business care of it, and we are there's a possibility of being created. Who should we contact?
You said is a sinkhole on that co-op property, on the co-op property?
It is.
That is for the co-op property. That is that business responsibility. The city does not take care of that property. That will be their responsibility.
Does DC like a sink a hard problem? Business to solve because that has land.
It's
That's considered private property. The city doesn't take care of private property. They don't do anything on a private property. That is for that property to get that fixed for the residents.
Mm-hmm.
The city doesn't do that.
So if I had a sink property would be the step to get that correct.
If you said if you had a sinkhole on your property?
If I had a sink in my backyard, the process
that would be your responsibility because that's your property. The city don't come to your private property to do work for you on your private property.
Do you understand that could pass like a neighbor? Like, do you know what
you're breaking up
aspect? I know that would be my responsibility to inform or fill that, but filling a sinkhole is not a task that like a regular person can take care of. They have to contact agencies to correct that. Do you understand what I'm asking?
Yes, you will have to call a contractor to come out and work on your property. The city doesn't do that. You have to contact a contractor that does that kind of work that will come out and do work on your private property.
Okay.
So Commissioner, there were some chat comments from Grace Reader as well as from Brian Romanowski, if you want to follow up. Any other questions? Seeing none and no questions from the audience. Thank you, Inspector Davis, for your time this evening, and look forward to seeing you again. So I did see that Solana Vandernet from Events DC is with us this evening. So she's being promoted to panelist. Good evening, Ms. Vandernet.
Hi, can everyone see me?
You can.
Okay, cool. How is everybody doing?
Great.
Good. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Solana Vandernet. I'm the Senior Manager of Community Engagement for the Walter E. Washington Convention Center. I'm happy to serve as a connection point between you and Events DC. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I'll put my contact information in the chat. As a reminder, to learn more about Events DC, our programs, initiatives, and other opportunities, visit eventsdc.com. If you haven't already done so, please sign up for our electronic mailing list and follow us on our social media platforms. I'll put this information in the chat as well. Regarding the January event calendar, for the rest of this month, we have 3 upcoming events at the Convention Center, 1 single day, 2 multi-days. I would like to highlight the following event. Starting Friday, January 19th through Sunday, January 28th, the Washington, D.C. Auto Show will be held at the Convention Center. A traffic advisory was distributed last night, providing further details. I'll include the link in that chat as well. And regarding our community grants program, applications are now open. Beginning this week, virtual grant informational sessions will be held every Tuesday and Thursdays in January at 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. Registration is required. The application deadline is February 1st. To learn more about how to register for the information sessions, please visit eventsdc.com, and I'll include the specific program link in the chat as well. So thank you for letting me join this call, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Any questions from commissioners? Commissioner Nigro?
So I'm going to ask. So are there going to be TCO officers for the auto show?
Absolutely, and all that
Hooray.
information is included in the traffic advisory.
Oh, was it in there? I haven't posted that. I'm sorry. So
Oh
I'm
yeah,
happy.
no worries.
Where is it? Where is it? Maybe maybe I should read that first. But where are the cars going to be test driven? Are they going to be anywhere in my neighborhood or no? Is it going to stay on your side?
Our side.
Okay.
Yep, and that ride and drive, that information is in the traffic advisory as well.
Okay.
Other questions for Ms. Vandernet from Events DC, from members of the commission? Seeing none. Questions from anyone on Zoom? Use the *69 if you're on the phone, or the raise your hand feature in Zoom. If you have a question about Events DC for Solana Vandernet. And I don't see any questions either from commissioners or from members of the public. So thank you, Solana, for being with us this evening. And
thank you.
Look forward to seeing you soon.
Great. Thank you. Have a good night. And I'll put all the information in the chat, including the traffic advisory.
And if there are any other representatives from district government agencies that would like to be recognized for announcements, please raise your hand or use *69 if you're on the phone. And I don't see any representatives. Any representatives from any other agencies? Anyone else that wants to be recognized? Please raise your hand or use *69. Commissioner Brown, I see you raising your hand.
Yes, today I received a letter from DDOT, and it's concerning S Street Northwest between the 1000 block and 1100 block. They're going to be doing some repairs, and they have posted some no parking signs down there. So parking is going to be a little stiff down in there. So be careful where you park.
All right. I don't see any other hands, either from commissioners or from participants via Zoom. So we will move on the agenda. Next item on the agenda is Play DC, 1541 7th Street Northwest. There are a number of neighborhood residents and neighbors that would like to be recognized. So please use the raise your hand feature so that you can be promoted to panelists so we can hear from you. Here we go. So Lila Sidaway being promoted to panelist. Douglas Bunch is being promoted to panelist. Those are the only two hands that I see there, but I did see a representative from the Establishments Council, Cameron Nixon, that will promote him to panelist. Well, so Mr. Bunch, Ms. Sidaway, welcome this evening. And Commissioner Watkins, I know that you are here as well. So there is a settlement agreement that has been proposed to resolve the protest for this matter. There were questions from members of the commission at the December meeting about whether or not neighborhood residents and adjacent neighbors were in support of the execution of that agreement. So you've been invited this evening to attest to that fact. So if you'd be so kind, go ahead. And when Mr. Bunch, you were already unmuted, so why don't you go ahead and start?
Thank you, Commissioner, and appreciate members of the commission hearing from us. This has been a long road for many of us in the neighborhood. I was one of the protestants as my property abuts that of Play DC. Ms. Sidaway represents the group of 5 or more neighbors. But after a lot of back and forth and extended discussions with both Play DC and its council, we've arrived at this settlement agreement. It's not perfect, but I think it satisfies us. In particular, it addresses noise in the neighborhood and privacy concerns, particularly after hours, through the addition of RDO detail, who will patrol Q Street Northwest and Marion Street Northwest after hours. It also governs hours of operation and disposal of trash. Play DC has gone a long way towards improving the volume and bass of its music emanating from the establishment. It still struggles with loitering after hours. And that's what that's to us, I think, the most important provision in the settlement agreement, and the one that we all should hold Play DC to in their agreement to this settlement. But we're counting on that RDO detail to do its work, because it's extremely important that it do so after the establishment closes. All that said, I support the settlement and will withdraw my protest.
Thank you, Mr. Bunch. Ms. Sidaway?
Sadawi?
Sidawi, I apologize.
That's okay. I mean, really, Doug captured everything. We've seen a lot of improvements. The biggest concern at this point is the loitering after hours and the noise, the trash, the disturbance that causes. And by after hours, we mean 3, 4 a.m. So, you know, we do want to make sure we see those RDO officers, particularly around the time that the club is closing. But otherwise, the settlement agreement stands, and as Doug mentioned, we retract our protest. Yes, Commissioner Negro. I don't know if I'm supposed to be calling on you or not, but
Commissioner Negro, go ahead. You're muted, Commissioner Negro.
So I don't know if we want to have Ms. Watkins. Ms. Watkins, do you want to talk first, or can I say something?
No, would you say
Okay.
something first?
So I guess I'm a little confused. So you're withdrawing your protest, but I just heard there were still these problems. So, and I have a question, because when you say loitering, there is no loitering law in the city of Washington, D.C. So what does that look like when you guys say loitering?
that's what the
look like?
challenge is because we can't really do much to enforce it, hence withdrawing our protest. You know, they've done the adjustments to the sound and the bass, which they can control. But what we've been told, and by Commissioner Padro as well, and by the apologies for mispronouncing your last name, what we've been told by Commissioner Padro as well is that there's nothing that a business can do about what their patrons do after they leave the premise. So as far as what can be controlled, we have, according to the law, we've gotten what we've been able to get. But we just want to say for the record that it is a huge disturbance on the streets when the patrons leave, you know, and we know that you cannot technically attribute, you know, those patrons to being, those people in the street to being former Play DC patrons, but it's very obvious to the neighbors. It's exactly when Play DC closes, and it's dozens of people on Q and on Marion Street partying in the streets, like blasting the music in their cars, smashing bottles. You know, the police came not long after the New Year day to try and break it up, and they couldn't break it up. So it's very, very, and I see a neighbor that's putting something in the chat about her experience on Marion Street. Yeah, it's still a huge disturbance, and a huge shooting on Marion last month related to breaking into cars of club goers. So, but we've just been told time and time again, Play DC technically has no control over that. But the one thing that they can do is hire RDO officers to be on site at those hours. Doug, please add anything that I might have missed.
I understand that. That's why I was saying about the load, because there's no loitering law, and I've dealt with it in previous establishments down in my area, so I get that. But when you're talking about the noise again and the trash, so, but I guess you're saying, okay, we're going to withdraw our protest, but then there's still these other two problems.
Because we're told we can't do anything about it. if there's something we
Well-
can do about what, go ahead, Doug, please.
Yeah, I think let's just sort of dissect this for a moment. So, trash is, I think, an important issue, but a lesser issue. I think noise, not from the music and bass so much, but from guests sticking around after the club closes are the real problem, at least, especially recently. And so Layla's referring to an incident where I actually called MPD because there are people around like 2 or 3 in the morning on the sidewalk, screaming, yelling, carrying on. Someone's car window was broken, someone driving down the street backwards, the wrong direction. Police came, attempted to address it. That's the type of conduct we're most concerned about. And the RDO detail is, as we understand it, the best we can do in attempting to counter that conduct. And the settlement agreement establishes that. So other than that, we're not sure what else we can add to the settlement agreement, but that I think is our basis for agreeing.
Correct.
Is in the room somewhere. He wants to talk.
Mr.
think
Mix,
he's
I think, wants to say
representing.
something.
Mhm.
There he is.
And I thought there was something in the agreement that they would have RDOs to help disperse the crowd before and after, whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
There is.
Okay.
Hello, ANC2J. Thank you for having me. I just wanted to say, reiterating points made last time, that Commissioner Padro, as well as the abutting property owners, and I have all worked together very hard to come to an agreement that we believe mutually satisfies the interests of all involved. And many of the issues being discussed reflect things happening much further back in time than the negotiation of the agreement, and prior to an extensive reformation of security procedure and the hiring of RDO, all of which I've overseen, and can confidently assure you that it's not reflective of the current operations at Play DC.
So Alex, let me say, so Ms. Watkins, what happened with what Martha said, or where does it stand with them?
Well, right now, and I hope y'all can hear me.
Yes.
Now, I did send a letter to Martha Jenkins about a postponement. After today's discussion and vote, then we would get back with her in terms of whether whatever the vote is, whatever comes out of the vote, the resolution that's being presented. And I do want to say, I do appreciate the settlement, the RDOs, and I do understand that there's not much that Play DC can do about their the crowd once it leaves their club. But I just want everyone to be mindful of this that lives in that neighborhood, especially Leila. I know that you have a new tenant in your unit, and that they be mindful of the activities that are going to be going on when they move in that unit as well. But I think we postponed the continuous until the 18th. I think that's what I read, Commissioner Patro, that until the 18th, which is next week.
What do you want us to do tonight, Ms. Watkins?
Well, I really want y'all to vote on the settlement agreement tonight.
So you're in favor of everything
Yes,
thus far?
Yes, I am. I'm really, because I see the effort that they are putting in place to disperse the crowd and keep the crowd moving after they leave Play DC. My concern, once I thought about it, I'm like, does Play DC, do they close the same time as the other club that's next to them close? Does all those clubs in that block close at the same time? And if
Play stays open later.
they're the ones that's open and late, it's okay. Thank you.
So I think, I feel if this Watkins is what you want us to do tonight, but I will say just my own personal opinion, we will be talking about this place again.
Well, I believe so too. For some reason,
but I'll shut up after this. But that's, I can tell it's gonna go on and on and on.
Well, I mean, do you have all, like alternate guidance? Like,
No, because it needs to come from Play DC, and if they do not help the neighbors as much as they can do, and I have been down this road. If anyone remembers Lux Lounge, Tony might remember Lux Lounge. That was my own personal Play DC. It did not get better until the landlord kicked them out. That was it. That's how they solved the problem.
That's
So,
how we started this. We started by trying to shut Play DC down. Like
well, but
3
that's a
years ago.
landlord. That was with my situation. So
Right.
Play DC has the option to be a fantastic neighbor if they want to.
Yeah.
They have to want
as
to.
they
The
are
trash,
currently.
the noise, whatever. Because they can't control. I'm with Mr. You can't control once they leave, that's it. You got to call the police for whatever. That's not Play DC's fault, whatever someone's doing it on 9th Street or on 7th Street in front of that's part of the police and all that. But they can certainly do 100% to be a good neighbor. And is my fear that they might not be. And we'll talk about this again.
I'm hoping that they will be a good neighbor. I'm hoping that anyway. I'm trying to be positive, be more optimistic about it. But I'm hoping they will be, or if not, they'll be hearing from us again.
See that there's another person who would like to be recognized to speak. Maura, can you hear us?
I can, and hopefully you can hear me too. And I am a party to the neighbors' protest, and so I just wanted to just add my 2 cents. If there was a way, I mean, I would like to be hopeful too, and if this settlement agreement is the best we can kind of get as neighbors, then it's better than nothing, and so that's why I think I am in alignment with my 2 neighbors here. But I just wonder, why is there a way that we could look at, like, why is this establishment able to stay open till 4 a.m. under a license? I think the provenance of their license was supposed to be a diner or something that was not what the establishment ended up being. But if Ivy and Coney and the passenger have to close at 2 and Dacha on some days at 10, why this establishment is able to be open till 4 a.m. It makes no sense to me. So I just wondered, I know it's kind of at the 11th hour here, but is there something we can do about the closure time?
So
Per the terms of the, sorry.
So Dasha closes early because it's an outdoor establishment, does not have walls. So in order to be able to control the sound and the disruption to the neighbors, that's why their license was limited. All of the other establishments either close at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, or on holidays at 4 o'clock. It's only at 4, only able to be open until 4 o'clock on holidays. So those are the different hours. They don't, no establishment has to stay open to the maximum hours. They can close early or earlier. I mean, I know a number of the establishments on the block sometimes are closed by midnight. They just don't have enough business, especially on weekdays, to justify it. So, yes, this establishment originally, was granted a license under very different circumstances for a very, very different type of business. But unfortunately, they legally transferred the license, to the operators of Play DC, and those are the constraints that we're dealing with.
Also, I believe there's been a miscommunication. By the terms of the settlement agreement, Play DC's closing hours are 2 and 3 a.m.
On the original promotional materials, they often had 4 a.m. on social media, and so that's why I'm basing that time.
Well, I'm speaking to the agreement we've signed.
They first opened over a New Year's holiday, so they were able to be open until 4 o'clock. So that might have been an artifact.
So were these recent promotions you guys saw, or people who said
No,
that?
I haven't seen anything to that effect recently.
Okay. Commissioner Watkins, did you want to make a motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we vote for the renewal of Play DC's license, and that means that suspend we no longer want the hearing. It's scheduled for the 18th.
Can I make a friendly amendment so that we ANC 2G supports the settlement agreement for the protest on Play DC, and that we withdraw our protest.
Does more still ever end up, or is this a old?
Size it up, but I guess it's down now.
Yeah. Thank you.
1 second.
So you accepted the friendly amendment, Commissioner Watkins?
Yes, yes.
So it's been properly moved and seconded, moved by Commissioner Watkins, seconded by Commissioner Brown. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hands. Aye.
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 And that's 6-0-0 unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you to the neighbors and protestants for being active and engaged over this long process. It's been almost a year that we've been in the protest process, and the commission looks forward to working with you and with Play DC to make sure that they can be the best possible neighbors.
Thank you all.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you for your time. And I'll be making sure they're great neighbors. Have a great night.
Cameron.
Thank you.
Thank you. So next on the agenda is Don Fuego at 1126 9th Street Northwest. This is our first request for support for the issuance of a medical cannabis retailer license in our jurisdiction. And I believe that we have a representative or several representatives that will promote two panelists. So I believe that we have Ms. Kinner, who's legal counsel for the applicants as well as owners. So please identify yourselves.
Meredith Kinner and McGowan, a representative for the applicant.
Sarah Harper, Don Fuego.
And Dave Amsellem, Don Fuego.
All right, as I mentioned, this is the commission's first application. Just for background, businesses that have been operating under Initiative 71, which does not allow the sale of marijuana, just the gifting of marijuana, are now required to apply for medical cannabis licenses in order to remain in operation. There are actually two I-71 establishments on the same block. However, neither of them have had successful applications move forward. So I just wanted to bring a little background. I know there were some community concerns about overconcentration, but at this point, Don Fuego, which has not opened yet, is the only applicant for a medical cannabis retailer license on that block and at all in our jurisdiction. And the property is located in Commissioner McCarty's single member district. But Ms. Kinner, did you want to make a brief presentation about the application?
Sure, yeah. So Don Fuego has been operating, and I would like to introduce Sarah and David are here with us today. Anything that I'm not able to answer, I will, kick to them. Don Fuego has been operating as an I-71 establishment since the beginning of Initiative 71, so that's about 2015. We've represented them now for a couple of years, and Kenner McGowan is representing them in the licensing process moving forward. We have had the opportunity to speak with Commissioner McCarty previously, and were able to arrive at a draft settlement agreement, which we discussed last week at the ABCL committee meeting. And I'd be happy to answer any questions about that agreement. I do know that Commissioner McCarty has shared that agreement with some members of his SMD. And we'd be happy to answer any questions that the community may have about that agreement.
Sure, just the basics related to the application,
Sure.
hours of operation.
Hours of operation, sure. So the hours of operation will be between 9 a.m., from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Those will be the hours of sale for medical cannabis. 9 p.m. is when the hours of sale have to stop. They will be open until 10 p.m. Just for operational purposes, but medical cannabis sales have to stop at 9 p.m. daily.
Right. Anything that David or Sarah want to add?
We're just happy to be here. We're happy to be part of the community, and we look forward to opening in a legal capacity, medical legal space.
Commissioner McCarty?
Yeah, so I'll just add that, you already touched on the saturation concern from constituents in SMD 2G04. We did relay to them, like you mentioned, that the other two currently I-71 operating businesses on the block have not applied. And so this application will kind of, with the 400 feet requirement will mean actually the saturation will decrease on the block. So I know a lot of constituents, that was their primary concern. But their other concern was really security plan. Again, really making sure people were not parking, loitering in the area. And Meredith and the team have really worked hard to incorporate all of that feedback into the settlement agreement for the folks, especially in the Whitman building. So I feel very comfortable and happy with the state of the settlement agreement because they really did just kind of take every piece of feedback from constituents and poke it right in there. So thank you all for that.
And if I can just add, I would thank Commissioner McCarty, and congratulations everyone as well on their new appointments. I should say Vice Chair McCarty. But yes, we were happy to incorporate all of the suggestions into the settlement agreement. I think they were all very reasonable. And Don Fuego, as I spoke about in last week's ABCL meeting, is really looking forward to being a member of this community. And I'd be happy to address any questions that anyone may have.
And as Ms. Kinner indicated, the committee did hear a presentation last week, and I did hear from Commissioner McCarty about the settlement agreement, and the committee recommended that the commission support this application and enter the settlement. Questions from other members of the commission? Seeing none. Questions from anyone that is on the Zoom call? If you're on Zoom and want to be heard, please use the raise your hand feature or dial *69 if you're on the phone. Don't see any questions from anyone else. So Commissioner McCarty, would you like to make a motion?
I move that Commission 2G support Don Fuego's application for a medical cannabis retailer license at 1126 9th Street Northwest, and willfully enter into the proposed settlement agreement and communicate that settlement agreement and entrance into that settlement agreement to ABCA.
And is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCarty, seconded by Commissioner Brown. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hands. Aye.
Aye.
Was that an aye, Commissioner Watkins?
Yes. Aye.
Unanimous 6-0-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you all so much.
Good luck.
Have a wonderful evening. Thank you all so much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Next is 600T, located at 600 T Street Northwest. So that Stephen Lawrence was on the line. Let's bring him over. Owner. there anyone else that that wants to be recognized related to this particular topic?
I'm not sure. Steve, anybody else coming with you?
I think it's just me today.
Okay.
You can hear me well?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so this is a substantial change request for a summer garden endorsement with 28 seats. This had previously been approved by the commission. It had been approved by ABCA. However, there was a delay in the issuance of the certificate of occupancy. So ABCA rescinded the approval and replacarded. So that's the purpose of the presentation. So just to recap, the proposed hours of operation and alcoholic beverage sales on the summer garden are Sundays, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. to 12 a.m., Fridays and Saturdays, 5 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. That the 12:30 a.m. is a reduction in hours from what has been applied for. They applied for 1 o'clock, and they've agreed to reduce those hours to 12:30 on Friday and Saturday. So, Mr. Lawrence, anything that you want to add about your proposed operation with the summer garden?
No, I think it's been addressed. We've done this before. I can definitely answer any questions anyone has, but pretty much speaks for itself.
Okay, Commissioner Brown, this is in your single member district.
Yes, and I'd like to also add, in them implementing this summer garden, there was space right on the alley line that they enclosed, and there was a gap at the top from the roof part portion of it down to the top of the gate. They've also addressed that. They installed plexiglass windows, so that would basically buffer any noises that are coming from that summer garden. And they've been good neighbors as far as I've ever heard. I've never heard anything negative about 600T, but they've done everything that they need to do to comply. So they're in good standings with the neighborhood.
So the committee did meet with Mr. Lawrence as well as his agent, and there was a concern that was expressed by the committee, which Commissioner Brown just described, and they've already addressed the concern. So the committee did recommend that the commission support the application for a substantial change for the summer garden endorsement at this location.
And also, I believe, Steve, you're asking for a stipulated license as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
All right, any questions from members of the commission? Hearing none. Any questions from anyone on Zoom? Please use the raise your hand feature or *69 if you're on the phone. Not seeing any questions there. Commissioner Brown, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I will. I move that ANC 2G support the request for 600T located at 600T Street, supporting the substantial change of a summer garden, and also requesting a stipulated license at the same time, and report that to ABCA.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Watkins. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hands. Aye.
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 That's unanimous, 6-0-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lawrence, I'm
Good luck,
sure that the commission will get that correspondence over to APCA quickly so that you can be able to start serving customers in your enclosed summer garden as soon as possible.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is STK Steakhouse at 901 Massachusetts Avenue. This is a request for support for a DDOT enclosed and unenclosed sidewalk cafe. So public space permits. So we have several representatives for STK that are waiting. So if you're with STK, please use the raise your hand feature or dial *69 if you're on the phone. See Alex Dobalski, promoted to panelist. Ana Hernandez, promoted to panelist. Ilas Salkbav, promoted to, and what's that chapter around there?
Hi, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. Mr. Tobolsky, would you like to introduce your team?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Patro. My name is Alex Tobolsky, and I'm AVP Legal for the One Group. We own and operate the STK Steakhouse restaurant brand. Today with me, we have Ilias and Anna from our architect group, ARIA Architect Group. And Ilias is going to begin the presentation. So I'll let him take it away. Thank you.
Yeah, hi everybody. As Alex introduced us, we're with our group architects, with the architecture and design partners with the One Group. We're the ones responsible for providing and developing the design that we're about to present. And I'm actually going to have Anna Hernandez, my colleague, present what we've developed.
Sounds good. Thank you. I will start by sharing my screen. Can everyone see my screen at this time?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Yeah, so as is mentioned just now, we are here to present a sidewalk cafe, partially enclosed and unenclosed on the ground level of the Marriott Marquis Hotel. The patio itself sits along Massachusetts Avenue, close to 10th Street here. Let's see. The enclosed portion of the Sidewalk Cafe is about 1,000 square feet. The unenclosed portion is about 600 square feet here. If you're familiar with the area, you'll see that the plan has these curvatures. These are the existing limits of that existing patio there, as you can see here, and we're planning on maintaining those. This is one of our renderings from the southwest corner. As you can see, this is the enclosed space with some unenclosed space over here with some seating. The bollards that we were talking about, they will be remaining, where we will just be adding some like an additional railing to farther promote like the limits of the patio itself. We did meet with DDOT, some of their representatives, and they walked us through all of the guidelines, some of those being the limitations of like how much of a solid portion we can have. We met those by providing a knee wall that is only about like 36 inches. The patio also will have on 3 sides, we'll have folding doors or folding windows really to promote visibility and connectivity to the sidewalk along it. And that's, I think, pretty much what we have here to present to you. If you guys have any questions for us.
Yeah, I will add that, as Anna mentioned, that we're essentially this space, the interior space and the sidewalk cafe space was part of a previous established restaurant that has, since is no longer there, and we were essentially taking over that space. And with this patio, the enclosed space and also the unenclosed space to the outside of it, we're essentially working within the limits of this existing sidewalk cafe that's already been established.
All right, Ms. Hernandez, if you can take down your presentation. This is in Commissioner Berry's single member district, and the Transportation Committee heard a presentation from this team. So Commissioner Berry, would you like to take over?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Great presentation. As I told you at our transportation and public space meeting, we love the design and the chicness of it. Well, I specifically, but I would like to make a motion that I move that the commission votes to support STK Steakhouse located at 901 Massachusetts Avenue Northwest, DDOT enclosed and unenclosed sidewalk cafe public space permits.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Barry, seconded by Commissioner Watkins. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye and raising your hands. Aye.
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 That's 600. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. So thank you, Mr. Tobolsky and your team. And do you have an estimated opening date for STK at the Marriott Marquis?
We do. We're really shooting really hard for the end of January. We're really shooting really hard. There's a lot of things that got to go right. We got final inspections next week. We have a 5 business day business plan, business license review that we're gonna try to shorten the lead time on. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but once you get your occupancy certificate, you get your health permit, and then you got to get your business license in order to become operational. And right now, that's a 5 business day lead time. So we're hoping to shorten it up. Not sure if anybody here can help, but would love any help that we can get. I've been in touch with Christopher Powell and Mokers, and I'm going to keep talking to him to see what he can do to help us out.
I'm sure the council member's office can also be helpful with that. So I'll be in touch with you.
Okay.
See how else we can be helped.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations. And we'll look forward to having you be a successful restaurant in our community.
We can't wait to have everybody there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah.
Moving on to some other DDOT issues, 1100 to 1200 block of 5th Street Northwest, request for installation of speed bumps. Commissioner Nigro.
All right, well, this is, I think I was share my screen real quick. I got a couple pictures. You all see this? So these are, okay. So these are actually tied together. Well, there's 2 DDOT issues for my area. So this is the 1100 and 1200 block of 5th Street, the request for speed bumps. My constituents have, we have talked about this for a long time. There have been numerous accidents. I found out this week that a resident's pet was killed because the speeders going too fast, the drivers going too fast. So what happens is people gun up, if everyone's familiar with this, if they're familiar with New York Avenue, they gun across New York Avenue, they're gunning up 5th Street. Sometimes they don't stop on that side, they keep going up 5th Street. So certainly these speed bumps will help with that. And this last picture on the end, if I can make this bigger. This is a really bad one. So you can see that there. And I apologize to Commissioner Barry, but I thought I had more pictures, but I think I just got text a lot of pictures over the years. These other pictures are for the other area, but let me show you the quick resolution. Hold on one second. And it's brief and to the point. Anyone have any questions while I bring up this? Oops. Hold on. Sorry. Oops. Okay, quickie resolution, very to the point here. Talking about drivers driving north on 5th Street from New York Avenue, moving at high speeds. Drivers have caused crashes with drivers driving east on 5th Street. Drivers driving as fast as has injured people and killed a neighborhood pet. Residents from the surrounding community have demonstrated that they support this project and that resolved that they install speed bumps on the 1100 block and 1200 block of 5th Street. And DDOT sent me a note last week because constituents have put in per my request, have put in the request for these. And he says that they are going to try and fast track this. Hopefully. Any questions from the commissioners? Oh, Maggie, yes, Maggie. No?
Maggie Limehouse. So
Maggie's a constituent. Hi, Maggie.
We'll go over to panelists.
Hi. Maggie, go ahead and unmute yourself. Maggie. He lives on Fifth Street. Hi.
Hi. Sorry.
Hi. No, it's okay. What are your thoughts?
A couple of questions.
Mm-hmm.
How many speed bumps per block?
Well, I don't know. They'll have to do a study. So I can find out but I don't know. Once they do their study, they would tell us.
Okay, I hope it's going to be a longer study than the last time when they did it, I think, for 3 days. I mean, basically, this, Rochelle, goes back to 2015, 2016, when we really had a push for this. And while everybody was very nice, I felt that DDOT really wasn't interested from the beginning. What do you see as chances for getting this done this time?
I think we have a very good chance to get it done because he's already said that they were going to look at fast tracking it. So it's not sitting on their desk.
Okay.
So, and I have to be honest with you, Maggie, I talk with them all the time, and it's a good response I get with them. So, and I think what's going to help with us is that there's already speed bumps on the 1300 block.
And on M Street.
Yes, on M Street, correct. Yep.
Which I believe the ones on M Street came after we made our first request. And I would also note that with the increase of bikes and scooters going both ways, up and down the block, it's just more and more dangerous. So whatever you all can do to support this would be very helpful for the safety of the neighborhood.
I agree. And also to stop the trucks. You know how we hate the trucks.
Oh,
they're absolutely illegal, but it's like if I can get enforcement is like next to nothing. So, but
trucks like Amazon, UPS, or
no, the big trucks that aren't allowed because of their weight, and that the DDOT. I can't even tell how many times I requested to have them come and do some enforcement, and it just has never happened.
Right.
But they're coming in from the tunnel. They want to go into the tunnel. It's always about that stupid tunnel.
I know. Yep.
Another topic. We're not going to be here all night.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Maggie's in support. Yay, Maggie.
Yes, please support this, ANC.
Okay.
We need
tell George hi.
I'll tell him.
Okay.
Commissioner Barry, your committee heard presentation on this.
Yeah, I completely support this. I just wanted to bring up another thought from a different perspective really quick. When you're at the light at Safeway, where you're about to cross over New York Avenue, there is a light to go straight over instead of turning right or left onto New York Avenue in either direction. That light is rather fast.
Yes.
It's very quick. So I think that adds to drivers speeding across, especially it's actually 2 lights, so like you get there, it's a small break after you cross over New York Avenue. And then some people are confused whether they can continue to go straight or if they should stop. And they end up running that light, accidents occur. So like all of that, if that could be included, it just came to my head.
No, good idea.
Yeah.
They need to look at all of it. So, but thank you. All right.
Any other questions? Any comments from members of the public on Zoom? Please raise your hand or use *69 if you're on the phone. This is related to the proposed speed bumps on the 1100 and 1200 blocks of 5th Street Northwest. And seeing no other questions, Commissioner Nigro, would you like to make a motion?
Yep, I move that ANC 2G support the request for speed bumps on the 1100 and 1200 block of 5th Street Northwest, and we communicate this to DDOT.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
A motion by Commissioner Nigro, seconded by Commissioner McCarty. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye and raising your hands. Aye.
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 Thank
Commissioner
you.
Watkins, yeah, I heard you say aye. So that's unanimous, 6-0-0. Thank you very much. Moving on to the intersection of 6th and M Streets Northwest. This is a request for DDOT traffic safety investigation. Again, Commissioner Nigro.
Okay, here we go. Some more pictures. So, so this is just, can you see these first three here? So this is a car going into the 1205th Street project. This is another car that was on M Street that they moved, but that was also part of the intersection. Now this is from like a hit and run, like 2 weeks ago, but I don't, this is a picture of the nighttime. But this intersection, whether you're going, the main problem that I see, and there's numerous problems, the main problem seems to be when cars want to turn, are going south and want to turn left on M, and then someone's coming north. But this whole intersection is just, there's impatience and they're gunning for the tunnel. And that's the thing. So here's my little resolution here. 1 second. Any questions while I bring this up? Okay, once again, very simple. So drivers has caused many crashes at the intersection of Smith and M while trying to drive fast into the 395 tunnel. That is the main thing. They're trying to get on to M Street. Have crashes going south on 6th Street, turning left on M Street. Drivers who have crashed has caused numerous injuries to other drivers and pedestrians. The residents from the surrounding community have demonstrated they support this project. I mean, it is huge if they can figure out what to do. I don't have the solution. I'm not a traffic engineer, but they need to do a study because this is a nightmare, this intersection.
Commissioner Berry again. This came to your committee.
Yeah, I agree. I I think the area is very dangerous, and there's a turn signal going south down 6th Street to turn on to M Street to head into the tunnel. And it's a quick turn signal as well. It's also a break in the road between, it's like where they want to put the jail at 501 New York Avenue, that there's a break of like a road right there. So that also creates that dynamic where people are impatient and trying to fit into a short space to turn, including coming down New York Avenue towards the tunnel, going towards Maryland. When they're turning onto 6th Street, that's also an area that causes a lot of gridlock because people aren't crossing completely over 6th Street Northwest. So it creates traffic going back because there's someone trying to turn onto 6th Street from New York Avenue. So if they could look at all aspects of that intersection instead of, I know we're gonna like chop it up for them and make it, so that it works and it's small for them, but so that we could get some things accomplished. But I think that they should look at the entire, hopefully they'll review the entire intersection and not just, the part where there's the break in the road between, I'm not sure what street that is, between
L Street.
L Street, okay, yeah, L Street and then there's M Street. So that's a very short block. If they could fix that somehow, I don't know how that could happen with the way the road is structured there, and especially if they are going to put a jail there, which we hope that they don't do. I can't imagine what's going to happen. So
Don't get me started. Yeah. Well, and and let me say the elephant in the room is something that we have talked about in the past, which is the third rail, which is still on the table for 2G06, which I don't think Commissioner Berry and Commissioner Purdy might not be aware, Ms. Watkins. So last year it was on the table and asked them to do a study, but I don't think anything happened to it. Is that basically the bottom part of 4th Street between M and New York Avenue will be closed to traffic. You are not going into the tunnel. You're not using M Street for the on-ramp of 395. So that is very controversial. People are all for it until it wouldn't be there. And then N and O Street turn into the nightmare. So it has to be looked at because that is the real crux of the problem is people trying to get onto the highway. We are the on-ramp.
And me living off of M Street, it's a nightmare. People, it's a nightmare, me just getting into my apartment complex because they're using N Street, so which traffic is all backed up there and they're zooming. It's just a nightmare for me when I'm coming.
Yeah, so it's in the wide range of things, this whole kind of like 4-block radius and how people are going into the tunnel, that's what needs to be looked at. And I'm telling you what the greatest in like the live study that happened 3 years ago is when the tunnel was closed because there was a water, I don't call it a leak, whatever happened in there. Remember that? And so the tunnel stopped. And it was like the best thing ever for 2 weeks, but they didn't study. I asked them during that time to actually take a look, and well, they didn't. So there you go. But moving on, but that's not.
You also mentioned, including in your resolution, but I don't see it there, the impact of the development of the square block between 5th, 6th, M and N.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put that in there. You're right. Okay, I'm writing down. Yep, so the big, if it comes, then something's gonna come eventually, the 1200 block of what they call the 1200 Fifth Street project, 364 apartments, more than likely 500 people will be there, and that something's gotta happen with that traffic pattern before that, whatever project is gonna be there, because it's gonna, if that comes and that intersection is not, or any intersection near there is not looked at, it's gonna be a nightmare, so. Thank you, Alex, for reminding me.
I think Commissioner Brown brought this up one other time, a long time ago, when we were speaking about the Florida Avenue bus project. What happens when they do a project, like they don't look at the full scope of what's happening. So like a lot of this traffic and impatience, it feeds into like mostly residential neighborhoods. And so then you create a situation where we need to put speed bumps on 5th Street between the 11th and 1200 block because people are impatient and speeding through. So if we could solve the whole problem, or it could flow smoothly, if it could just flow smoothly, during certain times of day. I know they change the timing of lights depending on, what time of day things operate. Even that would assist in, reducing fatalities and, people being injured or just afraid to cross the street. So.
Okay.
Any other questions for Commissioner Nigro? If not, Commissioner Nigro, I believe you want to make a motion.
Okay, I move that ANC 2G support the study or the traffic safety investigation study for the intersection of 6th and M Street Northwest, and we communicate this request to DDOT.
Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Barry. So motion by Commissioner Nigro, seconded by Commissioner Barry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hands. Aye.
Aye.
That's 6-0. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. Last on the DDOT items on the agenda, 1,000 to 1,700 blocks of 9th Street Northwest. This is a request for DDOT traffic safety investigation. Commissioner Barry.
Absolutely. The entire 9th Street needs to be looked at. It's unsafe. There are no signs posted really to say that there's new traffic patterns, zigzags, and there's just a lot of impatience on the street. There's deliveries being made, there's trucks stopping. So now it's essentially, it bottlenecks. It goes from 2 lanes to 1 lane to 1 lane again, and just people are not made aware of it. So during the meeting, on Tuesday, the Transportation and Public Space Committee, we agreed that this needs to be reworked. I have the idea, and I don't know if it's going to work or not. Don't blame me if it doesn't. I'm just, my suggestion is that maybe that 9th Street is made a one-way street and maybe 7th is made a one-way street. I don't know how that could work. Just a suggestion from someone who drives. So hopefully we could get some type of good feedback back from DDOT and they could rework this plan because it's not working right now. It's not safe right now. Even for people who are walking and biking, like it's still rather dangerous. You have to be very aware. And this is a very walkable area. Does anyone have any suggestions, or are we ready to vote on this?
Yep. Any other questions from members of the commission about Commissioner Berry's resolution? Any questions from members of the audience on Zoom? Please use the raise your hand function or star 69. Oh yeah, Commissioner McCarty, go ahead.
For the resolution, we're just asking for a traffic safety investigation, right?
Yes, we are asking for them. Yeah, that's what we're asking for.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone on Zoom, please use the raise your hand feature or star 69. You're on the phone, don't see any requests to speak on this matter. So Commissioner Berry, if you'd like to go ahead and make a motion.
Okay, yes, I would. I move that the commission votes to support a traffic safety investigation. That I move that the committee supports a request to DDOT for a traffic safety investigation on the 1000 to 1700 block of 9th Street Northwest.
And is there a second? It's a motion by Commissioner Berry, seconded by Commissioner McCarty. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hands. Aye.
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 That's unanimous, 6-0-0. So that concludes the action items on our agenda. Moving on to administrative matters, approval of ANC Security Fund participation. Commissioner Brown.
Okay. You all going to get blood from the turnip. Of course, with every year comes different expenses. So we got a few things to go over. There is a memorandum of, it's a statement of information from the chairperson. So it's being that we have a new chairperson, vice chair, and secretary. I have to complete about 8 pages of work. So I'll be coming around to get signatures on that. So look for me by the weekend so we can get this into the bank. Of course, everybody that's an officer will also be authorized to sign the checks. 2 signatures are required on each check. As for the third and fourth quarters of the report.
Commissioner Brown, you need to make a motion for the approval for the expenditure for the security fund.
Okay, right. Okay, it's $50 every year. Last year, we paid it up front, and of course, long story, but we will write a check for $50 and submit that to the office of the auditor to cover the expense for the $50 fund, security fund. So I move that ANC 2G approve the expense of $50 for the fee for the security fund, ANC security fund.
Is there a second?
For 2024.
Motion by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Berry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hands.
Aye.
That's unanimous, 6-0-0.
Okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay. Crazy stuff. The budget. Let me just go through January's expense and the financial report. Okay. Coming into January 1, 2024, FVC Bank opening statement balance was $660.90. The 2-3 expenses that we're going to have to approve this. I'll just go through. We have one expense right now that's already charged to the account of $100.69 is for the Zoom meeting that we're currently on. In addition, another check that was $9.65 was cleared, and the only other check we have out is $79.18. So for the 3 expenses of the Zoom, the postage fee that was paid, and one other expense, that was $189.52 worth of expenses, bringing down our available balance down to $471.38. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the expense of the Zoom fee for this meeting, January 11th, 2024, in the amount of $100.69.
Is there a second? Motion by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Barry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Raise your hands. Aye.
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 It's
Okay.
unanimous, 6-0. Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
All right. The other expenses, Karen Yaley, the notes and the website maintenance is $275 for the month of January 2024, in the amount of $275.
Is there a second?
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Nigro. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Raise your hands. Aye.
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 That's
Okay.
6-0. It's unanimous.
Yeah. So in addition to that, we have a new expense of $460 for the post office box that we have in 2001 post office. That's payable by the 21st, I believe. So that's in the amount of $460 to the U.S. Postal Service.
So wait, Tony, let me stop you for a second. Are
Mhm.
we almost out of money with this $400?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
This is going to be a saga. Okay. So anyway, I'm asking to approve the expense for the post office box, $460.
Is there a second?
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Nigro. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Raise your hands. Aye.
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 Commissioner Watkins?
Aye.
That's unanimous, 6-0. Thank you very much.
Okay, but yes, Rochelle, technically we did run out of money. However, mysteriously, a check for the remaining balance of our allotment and the amount of $7,730.82 showed up in the post office box.
What do you mean in the post office box? It didn't go into the bank? They didn't put it in the bank?
I've got to call tomorrow for the reasoning. It just blew me. So anyway, I received the check today, and I will be calling tomorrow to see how this happens.
Because
Well,
there's
I
the,
submitted, wait a minute, I submitted all the supporting documents for all the checks that we have written up through the fourth quarter, and the meeting notes and the whole 9 yards, expecting that we would then get the additional $77,000. This check was cut in September. It was forwarded to the Office of ANC. They forwarded us in November, and we just got it. So I will get some type of understanding about this tomorrow to see if that was even done correctly, because we've never received a check.
didn't Dawn send an email like about a month ago about the $7,000?
Right. But the check was already cut.
Yeah, so yes, right. So the check was already cut. She sent that email about 7,000, and then she made like, if you don't do this, you're not going to get the $7,000. Remember that email?
Correct. I got it. Yeah.
Can you bring up that email tomorrow?
Yeah. Yes, I am. Like I said, it's a mystery. I don't understand none of it.
It's a mystery to us. It's not a mystery to them. So that's
no correspondence, no forewarning, just it shows up.
So that's unacceptable.
No. So anyway, now we have money. So there are outstanding checks that I've written, but I have not mailed in the following amount. $275, that was for Karen Yaley. Replacement checks that I had to do stop payments for were $91.80. Another one for $58.04, and another one for $44.10. And then the last payment for the last meeting for Karen was $275. I haven't sent them out because we didn't have the money. So now we have money. I will get everybody's money to them. I will get the explanation of what happened and how this happened. And we're supposed to get more money soon. I'll get an understanding tomorrow as to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can do.
Yep.
Okay. But I think you all have copies of the quarterly statements, the list of
Wait,
checks.
did you do my about my the webpage? Did you see what I sent you?
Did you send it?
I did.
Okay. Give me the amount.
It's for 6832.
Okay.
And there was one I sent that was wrong, but this is I think that but the one that's correct is 6832.
Is that GoDaddy?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So another expense I'd like to make I'd like to move that ANC 2G reimburse Rochelle Nigro in the amount of $68.32 for the GoDaddy renewal for 24.
Is there a second? Motion made by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Barry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye, raising your hand. Aye.
Aye.
I guess I'm abstaining.
One abstention.
Yep.
So that's 5-0-1, motion passes.
Okay.
Much.
All right. So after I write these checks, everything will be up to date. And I'll give you all a figure as soon as I get the explanation tomorrow from the powers that be. All right. Any other questions? Give me a call.
So I have something to add. So you all saw about the agreement letter with the lawyer of our counsel for the concerning the 501 New York Avenue. So there was a 1,500 retainer. I didn't receive an invoice yet from her, so I'm gonna request the invoice. So then I'll have to talk with Kent about the $5,000 I request, how that works. So, and what Alex or me/Alex, whatever, who has to write that note about how we voted on that. And I think now 2 months ago or last month, I can't remember. Either way, so it'll be at least the first part will be $1,500 to her for the retainer.
From us.
Well, from that money, from the $5,000. So this is what I don't know how that we need to ask.
Okay.
Because we're the first, and apparently we can keep asking for the $5,000. I talked to Kent about it, and there's plenty of money in those funds. But how does it work? I've got this piecemeal, however it's going to work. So.
Okay.
But in the meantime, if they're going to want a retainer before our next meeting, we need to vote on it now.
Okay, let's see. Well, I don't think we have to vote on it because it's from the 5,000.
Out of
it's not our money.
Right.
Well, we can vote on it anyway. I don't know why, right? Because it's from you think it's not it's from that I won't call it a grant.
So
whatever
general
you call
counsel,
it.
general fund.
It is a grant, but I would recommend that we approve the expenditure for the retainer so that you don't have any delays.
Okay.
Contract.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to come with a check immediately, but at least you got it approved.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So I move that ANC 2G support a request from the $5,000 grant money from the Office of the ANCs for the retainer for the legal counsel for 501, the case against 501 New York Avenue Northwest.
And the name of the payee is?
It's Miss Themac. I can't remember her full name, but let me get the councils. Let me get the. Sorry. It'll be in my mind. I'm sure soon enough. All the time. 1 second here. So the firm is Donahue, Themac, and Miller PLC.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion moved by Commissioner Nigro, second by Commissioner Watkins. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Please signify by saying aye, raising your hands. Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
That's unanimous, 6-0-0.
And Tony, we'll get this resolved as soon as possible because I already indicated to her when we had a brief conversation this week that we're rolling with this quickly. So
okay, not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got a couple more administrative items per our bylaws. Committee chairs serve 1-year terms until unless they are removed or their successor is appointed. So we do have to seek replacements for, I know my term is up as the ABCL chair, and Commissioner Nigro, were you appointed in January of last year?
Yeah, self-appointed.
Both positions need to be replaced. So
I
do
would
we
love not to
have-
do it, but I don't know who that would be at the moment.
Do we have any nominations we'll start with zoning, planning, and historic preservation?
So I need to ask my other little members. I have several that I think would be totally appropriate if they just want to do it. So for me, for now, it could be me again. So
Okay, that it's as per the bylaws, you can continue to serve until your successor is appointed. But the commission has to appoint them, formally by a vote. So is there anyone that would like to volunteer to take over the ABCL committee? And hearing none, I guess I'll continue to serve until we have a successor. All right, approval of minutes of the December 14th, 2023 meeting with any corrections submitted to Karen Yaley. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Moved by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Nigro. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
I think I heard Commissioner Watkins say aye. 6-0-0. Thank you very much. And then lastly, Commissioner Brown, are we ready for the quarterly report, or is that next month?
That's next month. Because we've submitted 3 and 4 for last year. That closed out everything.
Okay, well, that concludes our administrative business. So unless there are any other announcements or any other business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner McCarty. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Raising your hands. Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. 6-0-0. This meeting is adjourned at 6:45 p.m.
I'll catch up with officers by the weekend.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Be safe. Be safe out there.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao.